2, 1.
Good morning, everybody. I am Professor Sunil Wankhede, convener of this workshop. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all, the dignitaries and participants present for 2 days national workshop on trends in cybersecurity, organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell and Department of Information Technology of MCT's Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology in association with SQUAD Infotech Pvt Limited. Digital activities has become a daily part of our life, that is social networking, wallet payment, net banking, and many more things we do on web. Every digital interaction is a great innovation to the human, but at the same time, awareness of what needs to be clicked and what not is also important and is the first step to the cyber hygiene. Today we see that world has stopped due to coronavirus pandemic spread across the globe, resulting in more opportunities to the attackers to hack and attack due to lots of vulnerabilities and lack of knowledge among the users. Current scenario has given us the opportunity to learn new things. During these 2 days of workshop, you will learn different aspects of cybersecurity, few common categories of threats, and how to protect your network and data from cyber attack. This workshop also gives you awareness about cyber behavior and its impact on mankind. We have received a overwhelming response from the participants to this workshop. Over 1,000 participants from all parts of India have registered. Few participants are from other countries also. Thank you all the participants for such a huge response for this workshop. There are 2 sessions per day, and at the end of every day, you have to fill the online feedback form that will be shared to you on Telegram group as well as in other social media groups. There is also a quiz on day 2. Quiz and filling the feedbacks are the mandatory requirements to receive a e-certificate. I'm sure this workshop would be insightful and interesting to all of you. Thank you all once again, and I wish you all the best. It's our holy tradition on worship our goddess Saraswati before any important event. So let's dedicate a prayer to Ma Saraswati. Over to Professor Nilesh.
या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
Thank you, Professor Nilesh. Manjara Charitable Trust, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Andheri West, Mumbai, is a leading technological institute in Mumbai, Maharashtra. The institute is playing a key role in providing and promoting the engineering education and research programs to students of Maharashtra and India. Established in year 1992, the institute has a prestigious standing among the top engineering colleges in Mumbai. So let us have a virtual tour of our institute. Over to Professor Nilesh. Thank you, Professor Nilesh. Now I request Honorable Principal Dr. Sanjay Bokade to say a few words on this occasion. Over to Principal, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Wankhede. All the esteemed members present today on the screen and off the screen, all the members from our associate SQUAD Infotech, I welcome you all. I welcome all the participants for joining this function for this 2 days national level workshop brought by the IQAC and the Department of Information Technology of RGIT Mumbai. In fact, I was immensely happy when I came to know that the Department of Information Technology and IQAC has planned a workshop, 2 days workshop on one of the major issues of the day, which is the cyber security. And it was essentially needed to have such a thing, because I believe the way the technological advancements are there and way the cyber technology is improving, at the same side, the other side of the coin that we see is that immensely a very huge amount of cyber crimes, unbelievable kind of cyber crimes, cyber threats are also encrypting in the day-to-day life. The accounts are hacked, the organizations are put to completely shut because of the computers being taken control by the hackers or cyber hackers or all those mischievous things which are being done by the anti-social elements. So it becomes a responsibility of the people with the IT backgrounds, computer science background, to update in general the various organizations to what are the best trends in terms of cyber security to be ensured at their workplace. To introduce to you this, a small video was shown by the Department of IT, and this has given you a good idea of our institute. We are located in Mumbai. Institute has been established in 1992. It was earlier located in Airoli, Navi Mumbai. However, it got shifted to its permanent campus in 2002. And the institute offers 5 undergraduate programs, 3 postgraduate programs, and 3 PhD programs also. The institute is permanently affiliated to University of Mumbai. Institute has got MBA accredited UG programs. Institute is NAC accredited, and it has got many accolades on its name. It's an ISO certified institution also, and very proactively involved into bringing the various technological trends in the society to, and it is one of the premier institutions in Mumbai delivering the technological education to the students. So once again, I welcome all the participants. I welcome all the esteemed members from SQUAD Infotech. I congratulate the IQAC cell of our institute as well as Department of Information Technology for taking such a wonderful drive. Thank you so much. Over to the next person, please. You can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal sir, for your kind words of appreciation on this occasion. Thank you, sir, for your support and cooperation throughout the preparation of this workshop. Now, over to Professor Sabnis, coordinator of this workshop. I request Professor Sabnis to say something about our workshop. Over to Professor Sabnis.
Thank you, sir. Dignitaries on virtual dais, our principal, Dr. Bokade, sir, our head of department, Dr. Wankhede, sir, HODs of all departments, my teaching and non-teaching colleagues, and dear participants. A very good morning to one and all. It's my great privilege and honor to be here to give a brief introduction of the 2 days workshop on trends in cyber security organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell and Department of Information Technology, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Mumbai. Teaching learning is the process of keeping up with new technologies. In the era of digital world, internet, we have been hearing of so many breaches over the last few years. and even months. These are the true signs that warn us about how rapidly the cybersecurity industry is progressing. Security trends and threat intelligence is a challenging task. In fact, one of the most dangerous cyber exploits today is not done remotely via the internet. It is something that is close in your vicinity, and that's the untouchable mindset. The objective of this workshop is to understand key terms and concepts in cybersecurity and to create awareness about different information security aspects and its impact on mankind. The flow of workshop is, on the first day, we have two sessions. Session 1, Introduction to Cybersecurity and Careers in this Domain, and session 2 is on the cyber security threats. On second day, we have two sessions. Session 1, cyber security in current world with respect to framework based on NIST and cyber kill chain. And session 2 is hands-on with adaptive technology and lateral movement attack mechanism. We have tried to cover almost all the aspects of cyber security with expert speakers in that field in these 2 days. I hope you will enjoy this workshop. I thank my colleague coordinator, Professor A.E. Patil, for his enthusiastic involvement in planning this workshop. I am thankful to our organizing team. I must be thankful to our HOD and convener of this workshop, Dr. Wankhede sir, for their personal attention in all the activities of workshop. I thank our principal sir, Dr. Bokade, for their guidance and support. Then I would like to thank SQUAD Infotech Pvt Limited for joining hands with us. Lastly, I wish all the best to the participant of this workshop. Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to our associate, Mr. J.P. Raut from SQUAD Infotech Pvt Limited. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Professor S.K. Sabnis. I welcome once again all the dignitaries, all the participants who are there in the live YouTube channel broadcasting. This is a great pleasure for all of us at SQUAD Infotech being associated with the Manjara Charitable Trust, Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Mumbai. As you all have came across that this is a 2 days national level workshop on trends in cybersecurity. We are glad to associated with this college for hosting this webinar on our platform. To talk about SQUAD Infotech, I'll just take a few minutes. We are one of the pioneer skill-based training center in India. We are most dedicated for our professional training based on various skill-based courses. It was established in the year of 2010. The foundation of SQUAD is led by corporate training professionals, having mission to provide highly skilled and trained software and non-software professionals. SQUAD conducts career-oriented and professional training placement programs, you can call it as courses, which are in line with the academic systems of India. To offer this, we impart training to college students, freshers, the past graduates, and experienced people. At the same time, we offer placements too. To make this possible, in online section of the industry, we have a department or division of squadonline.in. Secondly, for the classroom training, we have squadinfotech.in. To give you more understanding about SQUAD, SQUAD has divided all the technological requirements of skill-based courses into various divisions, like it happens with colleges. Like in every college, let's say BIT department, you have computer department, EXTC department, just to give quality services to the candidates. Similar to that, SQUAD is also having similar structure. We have Coder Technologies is one of the division here in the screen you can see, which takes care of Java, Python, Angular, and Android courses. Visual Coder is a division where we take care of .NET, PHP, and Angular courses. My language, where we take care of spoken English and personal development courses. Smart and for you is the whole and soul, our dedicated placement division, which has 3,500 plus companies with us, and we are offering placements to all the candidates who are joining with us for all the skill-based job-oriented courses. My Logic is a division where we take care of campus recruitment training programs, especially related to aptitude, resume building, essay writing, group discussion, etc., etc. LANs for CCNA, security courses, and Linux courses. Squad Digital is the division where we take care of digital marketing, training, and placement. Last but not on the list, Squad itself is known for its brand for offering software testing, training, and placement since 2010. To talk about more about Squad, we have our our well-known personality and the motivation behind the squad success, Dr. Resamlal Balu. He is the man who is known for his excellence as a team leader. Being in Indian Navy for 15 years, he follows disciplines, the principles of integrity. His expertise as the principal and the joint director of Bharati Vidyapit College have showed his skills in leading and guiding a particular institution. He is also awarded with the Samarshri Award by Government of India and Gaurav Seva Puraskar by Bharati Vidyapit Institute. His strong skills of executing, leading, emphasis on teamwork makes him a pioneer in development of Squad Infotech. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Resamlal Balu to say a few words about his journey and motivate the participants.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Principal Bogade sir, Vice Principal of Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Mumbai.
Good morning,
It is my pleasure to welcome you all on the occasion of arranging a Trends in Cyber Security workshop for 2 days. I am very happy that such a nice program has been arranged in a professional way. It is really marvelous. I am also welcoming all the participants all over the India who have on the virtual stage in the audience. They are going to participate in today's workshop and it will be conducted for 2 days. It is a wonderful chance to learn the things. It is very important subject which is being conducted by the 2 keynote speakers, Mr. Husinul and Mr. Sanub. I wish everyone all the best. I also appreciate and the efforts have been conducted and taken by the SQUAD Infotech Pvt Limited. The personalities are Mr. Jha, the director, Mr. Ritu Panna, Mr. Bhupinder Kumar, and many more who are in the team. I welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now to give you more idea about the pillars of Squad Infotech, this company was initially founded by Mr. Rohit Sharma and it has been the journey since then. We have Mr. Manish Jha, the Managing Director of Squad Infotech. We have Mr. Bhupinder Kumar, the co-founder director of Squad Infotech. We have Mr. Mohan, the director and teacher of the company. All these people have given us this platform, this moment to cherish with all the world and all the colleges across. Here we have Mr. Manish Jha to say a few words about his journey, about Squad's journey. Let me request Mr. Manish Jha sir to please say a few words.
Yeah, thank you so much, JP. Thank you so much, all the dignitaries from the college, participants for this 2 days workshop. And we are literally thrilled to have this association. And this is going to be 2 days program. And we have seen a lot of efforts have been put by college since last so many days. Excellent disciplined approach they have executed. And we are very much delighted even to see the way they have programmed the entire event. So thank you so much, all the college authorities. Thank you so much, and all the participants who came on this platform. I'll not take much time, just because a few things which definitely I would like to mention here. Career opportunity in IT is not only limited to software development or software testing, right? It has ample of opportunity in the form of technical writing, information security, database administration, system administration, and so on. So once we have equally rewarding career option with us, to choose the best technologies is always a tedious task. And in this era, when college has planned to conduct this topic on cybersecurity, because most of the people are moving into online, so you should know as an add-on your skill set that how you can enhance yourself, how can you understand the entire technological aspect even in today's program. This is going to give you a complete different insight, and based on your qualification, based on your capability, aspiration, and attitude, aptitude, you may decide to choose this as a career. So over to all of you. Good luck to everybody. We are now we have been conducting this workshop for various colleges, multiple workshops, series of workshops we have been conducting for various colleges across India. And we have been privileged that we have been given this opportunity to conduct certain workshop in association with such like colleges, and one of the best colleges in Mumbai. So thank you so much, college, all the participants. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Manish sir. It's a request to all the participants, be active during this webinar. Keep asking your questions using the live chat box, and we will be answering all the questions towards the end of the session. This is all from our side. Now over to Dr. Professor S.K. Sabnis.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll have a brief introduction of our today's speaker, Mr.Husinul Sanub. He is a tech enthusiast in IoT, ML, embedded hardware hacking, working with EY as a security analyst from July 2019 to present. He had been working with NetCentric Technologies as information security analyst from May 2018 to June 2019. He worked as project coordinator in District Collectorate Calicut from September 2018 to December 2018. He was IoT researcher at Red Team from December 2017 to February 2018. He was artificial intelligence and neurological research intern from February 2017 to August 2017 at CSIR. He was EY research intern from January 2017 to February 2017. Now I request Mr. Husinul Sanub to start the session. Over to you, Sanub sir.
Thank you, Sabnis sir. Okay. And once again, thank you all the dignitaries from the college, respected principal sir, and all the HODs. So I will start my session. I think it is this session is visible by everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You continue.
Okay. So I hope everybody does have know the impact of cybersecurity and the need of cybersecurity in our career, like these post COVID-19 exposure. Every industry or every organizations are turning to online. So before that also, I do want to address you why cybersecurity is needed, and is it a particular career we can do with cybersecurity? So I will give you basic understanding of cybersecurity, and I will also will help you out. How do I become a cybersecurity uh, person, and how do I start my career in the cybersecurity? Okay, so first and foremost, why is cybersecurity and why it is a career option? Okay, so this is the answer for that. We do have known by this era, by 2020, we do have 15 billion devices connected. That means it's connected to internet. It's connected to every person's. And for every data breach, it does around cost around $3.86 million for every data breach. For every data breach, this is an average breach data breach cost that happens to every organization throughout the world. And moreover that, 5 million data records are stolen every day. Think about it. It has 5 million data records are stolen every day. And most interesting part, there are 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs by 2021. So this is the answer why the cybersecurity has proven its challenge and why it is important. Okay, so before that, okay, and before moving to next slides, I will tell you my little bit brief about myself. I am Husinul Sanub. I am from Kerala. I do work as a security analyst in Ernst & Young for the past 1 year. Before that, I do work as a security analyst in another company, which has a background in UAE. So I'm a 2017 passed out student. I'm a BTech graduate, BTech Electronics and Communications. So you guys may have wonder. Uh, so does a degree depend upon a cybersecurity career? So throughout this talk, I can assure that even if you have will, if you have a desire, you can be there. Okay, let's move into how I go with the session flow. So I will move the sessions in a flow like I will talk about it a bit about recent attacks, and I will more emphasize on this topic in my next uh, session, that is internet threats that we should have to go for the more on this type of attacks, what how cybersecurity affecting us, or another I will talk about the security industry. So this particular industry and how big this industry. You may have seen that there are 3.5 million unfilled jobs by 2020 throughout the world. So I will talk about a little bit on the security industry, and I will talk about how do you able to get into the security as a career, how you can choose security as a career. And I will give you some idea about how you can start. So you can set up your own labs, your own personal labs. You can set it up in your personal devices, and you can start learning if you are new into this. And I will give you some scenarios. So let's move on to next. So maybe some of you may have noticed about these type of attacks that does happen recently, like the ransomware. Most probably you may have heard about of ransomware attacks while you encountered with the cybersecurity issues. It's a kind of malware that would affect you all, and uh, will responsible for the theft in your organizations or whatever the industry if it is affected. So these things, these kind of attacks are happens every time. There is a no end for this type of attacks. It does only in a new manner. It does comes only new manner at a new times. And uh, another important area, the cybersecurity or the hackers or attackers or the bad people. They they're more interested into healthcare security reports. So these you may have wondered about how healthcare industry or how our hospitals or how our healthcare institutions are vulnerable for the cybersecurity criminals. So we may have seen that recently you may be heard about of or you may have encountered in Twitter or in media you may have heard about of Arogya Setu hacking, Arogya Setu application hacking. Um, it's it's not a complete hack or it's not a complete takeover of their personal data, but it just shows that the value of our healthcare. So I will give you a brief understanding of these type of issues in my next talk regarding the threats in different industry areas. And next one for most things this happens a few months before one of our nuclear power plant are in an under attacker's radar. So so these kinds of attacks is every day or every hour, maybe at this point of time also some attacker or some hacker from far away from our area or within us may be able to crack down different security issues, different organizations that might be in a government or a private, but that also does have a great impact on our life. Okay, so I'll give you some examples of uh, vulnerabilities or issues that has happened on the last around 6 months before. So uh, you may have heard about of that our WhatsApp devices, whatever the WhatsApp application that they're all vulnerable for an attacks. They do have some kind of 0 days or some kind of new vulnerabilities that can be exploitable, and they can or attacker can able to analyze our life through a WhatsApp which was installed on our devices. uh, okay, and this is some kind of uh, attacks that does happens around 6 months before. I didn't give a reason attacks. I will talk more briefly these on the threats part on next sessions.
Sunil
So
sir, sorry to
yes,
interrupt you.
yes,
Can you make a slideshow?
yeah. Is this a
Sure.
slideshow?
No, actually,
Full
we are
screen.
not
We would like to
getting
see
a.
the full screen.
Okay,
Because
I
on YouTube, your contents are not properly visible.
okay. I just in sorry to interrupt again. So, I'm in a full screen right now,
Okay.
so I can able to see if you have any kind of issues. Is this slide only the full screen or all these are full screen or not? Are you able to see the?
So end this slideshow and go for F5 full screen.
Okay, sorry for this. What about now? Is it okay?
No, the same
Sir,
happens.
press F5.
Yeah, I do press F5. Is it better?
Uh, screen.
Sir, can you check your display settings?
Okay.
So can you disable next slide option? Then we'll be able to see full screen.
I didn't get you. What?
In the right side corner, we are able to see next slide. So if we disable that, then we'll be able to see full screen.
Okay, let me try again. Let me try again. I didn't get you. What?
In the right side corner, we are able to see next slide. So if we disable that, then we'll be able to see full screen.
Okay, let me try again. Let me try again.
Hi.
I didn't get you. What? Okay, let me try again. Let me try again.
I think you can execute like this also. It is visible, I suppose.
Is it visible right now?
Yeah, just open the website, that slide, particular slide.
I just have made up the slides through these PowerPoints. What about now? Are you? I'm able to visible fully here from here. Just
Yes, yes, screen is visible. Open that slide number 4.
okay. What about now?
Yes.
Are you able to see the screen right now?
Yes. And sir, towards the end, on the right hand corner, okay, there is a small slider is there. Just left to that slider, there is a button on the PowerPoint only. On the PowerPoint only.
Okay, which one from beginning?
No, no,
Right.
left, right. No, towards the bottom right. Bottom right. Okay, come towards the bottom right.
Okay.
Okay, near the slider. Yeah,
Okay.
press this.
Are you able to visible?
Uh, I think you need to click the resume slideshow then. I think you can continue like this. This is also fine, sir.
Okay. So now you are at fourth page, right?
This is fine, sir.
Okay. Uh, sorry for the mess that I have taken out. So next part will be it's regarding some of the issues that reason they have found out, which was 0 day, which was newly. So some of the SIM cards in different countries are vulnerable for an attacker to create an attack and take control of our phones. And even another kind of apps are introduced in Google Play Stores. We may not know these application may have access the camera. Maybe while we installing a particular applications, we may have seen these Android apps asking for the permissions. There's a lot we can able to see that there's a lot of permission. All these permission may have they may ask for us record our audio, record our microphone. Maybe a simple calculator application may have these kinds of permissions will be asking out. So why these kinds of simple applications asking the permissions of recording our microphones or recording our Android applications camera? So these kinds of issues are still there, and we are giving um, a green signal to install all these kinds of application in our phones, even though these kind of applications have greater permissions to our privacies. And many of you may have acquainted with the Alexa, Siri, or Google Home. You may have seen these kinds of artificial intelligence devices, or AI, or some kind of, it's not a fully AI devices. It's some kind of, this device. An attacker can use these devices to simulate your voices and take control of your homes. So these attacks will be uh, morely discussed in the next sessions. And yeah, I would say about many of you may have used the cam scanner applications for your so these things they might have recently the attackers is used found out that these things can be used as a malware. And these cam scanner application that we uses in our daily lives, so mostly student will be uses in our we do have to take the PDFs, all these things. So it can create a vulnerable, it can create an attackable devices from security point of view. So these kinds of issues that we are facing, or these kinds of issues that the researchers have analyzed on the current security part. Okay, and I will give you a brief of on the cybersecurity industry on next part. So this is related to uh, how the cybersecurity market is, how big it is. As per the Gartner study, it's a uh, uh, in 2080, there's around 170 billion market share would be expected in cybersecurity by 2022. Okay, and you may have heard about of which country, or you may have think about which country leading these cybersecurity markets or cybersecurity uh, areas. Is which country has put more invest, or put they do have a lot of companies and they do have a lot of revenues. Do you have any idea? It's none other than Israel. So this particular company in the last 5 years is they do invest a lot of money in cybersecurity and a lot of new innovations. We may have heard about of we may use in our daily lives, like the antiviruses, the companies like Symantec, all these type of companies, they all belongs from these areas. In Israel, they do have a lot of innovations in cybersecurity and more innovations, and predominantly they are in the they hold the number one in the market share of cybersecurity business. So why would I say that these things, these cybersecurity industry is even on this epidemic time, every industry is going back, but this industry is booming around it, because even though everything is connected to internet, and every devices that like IoT devices, it's all under, it's all connected to that. Even the vehicles are connecting, even autonomous vehicles are coming out, even every kind of new things are connected to the internet. So this industry has a prospect that it has an exponential curve on how big it is and how big it can be rapidly grow in the next futures. This was a study that does happens in 2080. It was pre-epidemic, or usual consulting firms they do might have studied the cybersecurity industry, how and what market or which area they are moving into. We may have seen that even this talk or this webinar is based on a cloud-based application, is working on a cloud-based application, right? So these things and we may have heard about Zoom does have also a lot of vulnerabilities, or every kind of uh, application might have some kind of vulnerabilities. So these issues can be resolved, and this industry has a tremendous life on next future. And I will go to the next slide, how you can start a cybersecurity career. Okay, so what things you need to be in the cybersecurity, what things you want to be in a cybersecurity career. So how I'll just give you how challenging or how useful it is, how the life of a cybersecurity person, career person. So this is something what you know it's some challenging firm, and also the fun, and moreover the profit also there. So how it challenges, every day every kind of new attacks would become, and new kind of issues will be rising. You may have seen maybe every Tuesdays, every Tuesday on a particular day in a particular week in a month, Microsoft fixes their vulnerabilities that discovered by uh, recent times. So you should have to be more aware of the challenging environments and you the challenging that means is it's kind of a fun challenge, or it's kind of you can able to learn something, learn with challenges. That's a hurdle will be there. You can be able to connect on that. You can able to work on your peer groups. There's multiple communities are there, and it's more of a fun you can hack into, or you could be an ethical hacker, or you could be a defender for a greater companies from all the attacks that does happens on the particular company. And moreover, this does have one of the leading industry, they will give you out the greater paychecks on regarding this particular job roles. So I will give you a, a detail about the type of hackers, or type of what kind of uh, hackers are there. Black hat does means complete offensive, and that means they are bad people, or they do the things for offensive purposes. They do hack into the persons illegally, or they do hacks to the governments illegally. These kinds of hackers are there, and gray hackers are there. Gray hat hackers are there. The gray hat hackers are between the good and bad. They do bad things, but they do also the good things. And white hat hackers are the ethical hackers. They usually defend these type of activities as illegal activities, and they do support the governments, the industries, the organization, companies. So these kind of people be called as white hat hackers. And I'll give you out what kind of works, or what you may have wonder, or you may have confused, which kind of works would I do in the cybersecurity area, if I able to get into the career in this particular career. So that the type of works we do, or as an offensive career means, a for a company or an organization or a country, you may have to do the offensive work like pen testing, red teaming, purple teaming. Means the way that I mentioned the offensive is it's something that you have to replicate an hacker's activity, an original hacker's activity, and you have to replicate that. You have to in your organization or in your client organization, how hard or how easy or how way you have to hack into the your client system, or how you have to test those whatever the applications that intend to give you. You be testing like a real hacker, how you could be able to find out these things are mentioned as an offensive part, and another part will be a defensive sort of area. So it will be you'll be monitoring the different kinds of problems or different kinds of issues that your organization facing. Like if like what I mentioned, like I would like to mention that a particular company are facing some kind of cyber attacks. You are the person. If you are in a defensive type of work you are doing, you are a person. You will be working in a security operations center. You are a person who will monitor these attacks, and you will be the person. Uh, you will be the person who defend these attacks from the real hackers. So you may have seen in the movies, or you may have seen the in a lot of Hollywood movies, these kinds of people will be there. Some person will be hacking to you, and some person from your other team will defend these hacks. So these are the defensive persons who will take care of these jobs. And another job role will be a malware analyst. So we know that we can't able to trust every data that submitted to you, or is some that can be downloaded on your laptop or application, whatever you may have downloaded from other sources. So these persons in a company's perspective, they do analysis whatever the data may some clients or some their internal team they'll be using. They will performs these kinds of analysis, or they do have certain kind of whenever they would get suspicious um, data, they will be analyzing, these guys will be analyzing, is that data has some kind of issues, is something hidden in the data, like a word document may can be hidden a particular kind of payloads that does give the attacker connection to your computer. So these things, in a perspective of an organization, these particular job roles, people, malware analyst will they will look into it. They will work on it. You can see this type of job roles in firms like antiviruses firms, or very reputed firms in cybersecurity, particularly those who create cybersecurity products in terms of endpoint security, the antiviruses softwares, or any endpoint security softwares. So these kinds of people, like an example, like it is an Avera, FireEye. So these companies and also these companies McAfee, these type of companies hire these particular people, malware analysts, who does have skills in malware analysis, who be using these things. And another one, the purple teamings. So I forgot to tell about the red teaming part also. So red teaming is really interesting part. So the companies will hire you as a red teamer. So you have a fully authority to do the offensive way, but you have to do it as an ethical ethical areas. But you should have this to follow in what the real hackers are doing the same step. So even you in an area like red teaming, you in this particular job roles maybe you have this to you have to think like a real hacker, how you can breach an organization, how you can from the level that you have to do the spear phishing campaigns to get the ideas about your victims. You can collect more data from your victims through internet. We do have a lot of a lot of social networks. We can give a lot of information about us, so attackers may target us. So they have created payloads to attack us. They might have getting these kinds of information from our LinkedIn or profiles, Facebook profiles, or Twitter profiles, whatever. They might have an understanding about what issues we have, what kind of things we like, so they will give they will mail you like spearfish. They just mail you regarding this kind of spear phishing. And from that level, and getting into a particular companies their environment. I mean, their building, how they these red teamers may have the knowledge how they're getting into a building that they are not authorized to it. By using the physical security bypass, a lot of interesting areas will be there, like whatever you can see in the movies. You could also you have to be like to getting into an office, and you can exfiltrate the whatever the data is in the offices. You can get the accounts in the person, their usernames and password, these kinds of things. You can see the teaming part. And for a defensive part, purple teaming is something it's the defensive team will do. They do have red teaming with blue teaming. Red teaming is an offensive one, and blue teaming is some kind of defensive areas. Like you will monitor how a attacker attacks on your organization and their flow of attacks. You can defend the flow of attacks. So the purple teaming is one thing that it's a kind of practices or services that companies provide to their clients, that they will stimulate these kinds of practice inside their companies to understand how the companies or organization, their infrastructure is strong or not. So I will go through the another area, that is an auditing part. It's some kind of auditing that your company may have these kinds of certification or compliances regarding the cybersecurity, regarding the security issues. This forensics, this may you may have seen these kinds of job roles in government sector, in police. So they will hire all these kinds of. And another areas is the researchers and bug hunters. And researchers morely, they will find these, I have shown you on the first few slides, so that the issues they have found out. And these these things, they are exposed by these kind of researchers and bug hunters regarding every applications. And we'll go through. So I'm a pen tester and an application tester. So I will give you a brief about how you can be able to getting into pen testing. And you could able to see the security jobs in perspective. In LinkedIn, you can able to security jobs in India. You could be able to understand how big companies you can find the whatever the companies is listed here, they are big here. So how important is security in every company, in every organization. So they'll be hiring all these kinds of these giants, including Microsoft, Visa, McAfee, Apple. These companies does require this kind of job roles, and they are lacking these kinds of human resources for their organizations. So I just hint you how big and how cool these jobs are. Next, I will moving to what is a pen testing. So the one we are working on pen testing is, you should have to find out the issues on a particular applications. Might be it's a website, might be it's a Android application, or might be it is a iOS applications. You can able to find out the vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities means issues an attacker enables us to. So why do we pen test before an application run into market? So if I created applications for the companies is really wants to undergo the security test before it moves into the market. Some companies do these kinds of they do these kinds of follow up. So why means, for before an attacker attacks on your applications, companies can understand by use of this testing. They could be able to understand how what kind of vulnerabilities or what kind of attack threats or attack surfaces can be found on their own applications. So companies will hire these kinds of people like me, or like any kind of application pen testers. They hire these kinds of people to do a pen testing, penetration testing
on their applications. So they could able to find out the issues related to their application, and they can fix this application before this application gone out into the market, or these applications are sent into Google Play or Play Store or any kind of production environments. So the latter I will say about, so the companies would get the security risk and severity of these particular applications, so whatever their own applications, and they could also find out how we can remediate these issues. So since you may have noticed that this Ryukisedu app, some researcher friend France Elliot Anderson, he find out some issues, and the company and those who have developed these kinds of the ministry, I think there's developed this kinds of application, this Arogya Setu application, they remediate these issues, and they give another chance to the researchers uh, to bring out more issues. If you found out more issues, they can give you the money. So that means they introduced a new kind of vulnerability disclosure policy that attract the bug hunters to find, or researchers to find any of these any kind of issues that related to their app. So what I simply meant that, so this particular application, they these kinds of particular application, they could application developed by the company, they could hire a uh, particular company or particular consulting company or a particular security persons to understand their perspective of issues, and they can remediate these issues, and they can get this their own application into a well manner into the outer world or into the production. I hope you are all follow up. So another important area is a complaints part. Like every company might, they nowadays is every company they do the online banking and everything. So there's a kind of complaints, security complaints these companies have to take care before they have to implement these uh, on their activities. Like if we go with, if an example with Paytm, they might have these kinds of regulatory compliances. So so payment card industry, they do have, they are in these kinds of industry. So these kinds of compliance, security compliances, it's they have to follow. It's also from the governments, also from some private companies do these kinds of things. So these kinds of job roles are still there, and it will give you, so what is the expectations of these roles. This kind of particular compliance roles give you will help you to reach out into many areas in different countries. You can able in every country does every companies in the different countries they do require these kinds of compliances on their industry. So if you are a compliance expert, if you are an PCI DSS expert, you can able to give your services, and you can travel around the world to give your services. I do have a friend who are in this particular job role. I think he has traveled around 6 or 7 countries within 2 years. So this is a fun job, this kind of fun jobs. So what I meant here, the jobs related to the security is some. It's not really what you have seen in the movies or what you have seen in this kind of things. So there are cool jobs are there. There are defensive jobs are there. So there are offensive jobs are there. So you can connect it. You could be able to get to it. These kinds of job roles. So, what will be your designation? So, these kinds of jobs, maybe companies do hire. They will call you as a security consultant or analyst or security engineers, or even the product companies they will hire these guys as a product analyst or security engineers. So, analyst. Maybe you can find out this Apple, they do have a product security company, and the other types of companies like Google, they do have a security persons. So, unlike it is a service, there are product companies, they do want also the security testers to test their product. Like if a company they create healthcare products, they do want to check it out before it moves into production. So the job roles are unlimited. You could be able you can be able to go for a service based companies or consulting based companies, or you can go for an product based companies. They do have this kinds of product. You may have test on these kinds of products. Okay. These are all other pen testing skills in other areas that we talk about: the security operations centers and digital forensics and incident response. Those this will be associated in the larger organization or government organizations, and network security analysts and engineers. So these kinds of job roles or these kinds of skills you could able to find out in different personalities who work in these kinds of security jobs roles. So how you can what kind of areas is a security person has work on, like network that might be inside an organization or an external organization, or you could be wireless like Wi-Fi. We do many of our organization are still connected through Wi-Fi inside their campuses. So these kinds of areas is the security persons will look over. And another application, that does means web application, that websites or thick line application. A great example of thick line application is our ATM machines. They do have thick lines. That particular software is called thick lines. So these kinds of thick lines you could be able to see in different organizations. So these things has to be tested and before it moves into a production. So these areas, how I was giving you out the areas where a usual tester will look into it. And hardware areas is like like what I have said, the IoT devices, the medical devices like pacemakers, insulin pumps. These are all the companies who manufacture all these. They might undergo a security testing on these things, cyber security testing especially. And transportation, regarding we may have seen different kinds of autonomous vehicles are the future of the vehicle industries. So these vehicles are still under the security testing. Even you may have heard about Tesla, the number one in the autonomous market. They usually have an event in every year. They call the attackers, the hackers, ethical hackers from around the globe to test their devices, and they will give the bounty amount those who found out the issues. And recently they had an issue. One of their vehicle car does have some kind of vulnerability, some kind of issues. So they'll give you $1 million to those who find out. So, and another area is with regarding with people, like social engineering. So it's one of the most and fearless part that we are undergo currently. So even in this COVID epidemic, some attackers or some crooked people who aimed to create a social engineering on different persons. So they will give you the clicks, or they will give you a content. So those content you might think it's an authentic content, you give your credentials, or you give your bank account details, or you give your OTP details. So these type of person, these type of areas is, where these we are focusing on. So and it is called offensive in social engineering part also. And even a next case is the buildings area. You maybe wonder how a building, buildings are vulnerable for a cyber security attacks. And you maybe wonder that we in all our building we might have included the physical security. You may need a token, or you may need some kind of access into the buildings, like your fingerprints and everything. So these things can be bypassed for these things can be bypassed for an attacker, for a trivial, those a person who is trivial in his capability in those kinds of area. He can able to bypass it. He can An unauthorized person can authorize the areas, like last times is I have found that the Google offices in Australia, they do have this kind of attacks that happens. So, and another area is telecom, and how telecom is vulnerable for these kinds of attacks. We are using the 4G LTE phones, and with this is not application level attacks or Android app level attacks, but using a 4G spectrum, or using a 5G or LTE spectrum, and an attacker can do a lot of things, like tapping your calls or reading your messages, and a lot of security threats are also there. So these kinds of work people are people who do people who do the testing. They might, or people who are in the security areas, they might have worked, they might work on this field, like telecom, like physical security parts, like they might work on the people. So I also worked on a social engineering project, that one of a big clients, one of a big bank, they approached us, and they were mentioning about they want to test their employees are vulnerable for a social engineering attacks. So like spear phishing attacks. So and the companies nowadays is they are giving out those kind of lectures or those kind of trainings to their employees regarding the social engineering or spear phishing attacks. So these things are day by day are going in a curve like that. The attacks are booming in every seconds or every hours. So as an attacker, how do you get the knowledge? So we have a terms called the black box, white box, and gray box. So uh, while black box, we don't have any kind of informations regarding the application, regarding whatever things you have to perform. And in white box, you may have some informations, but you don't you have full informations regarding the application you are going to test it. For a gray boxes, it's about the partial knowledge of a target that you have to test it out. So these terms that we commonly used in our scenarios is, okay, this is not a great importance to you. So yeah, so what we kind of we do these steps that earlier I have mentioned. And I'm just going to be, how do you want to be a pen tester? How do you get into these areas? So you should have this to ensure a technical knowledge. You should have this to create a technical knowledge about these networks, and operating systems, probably Linux based, and security, some kind of issues. And you may have at least a knowledge about how the web applications are working, how a mobile Android app is working. And if you are interested in the hardware level, you could maybe at least a basic understanding of electronics, how you can be able to uh, the working of these devices. And how do you create these kinds of informations? How do you nurture these kinds of information? Where do you get these kinds of informations? You can go through the conferences. There's a lot of conference do happens, like Nalcon, like besides Delhi, or even the Nal Maharashtra, these chapters, these conferences, meetups or meetings do they happen. You can connect to those people, you can get knowledge about them, you can create a network to them. And moreover, it is a self study, you have to do it. and and regarding and also you can set up your own labs in your home. If you have a small laptop, you can set up a small labs on your own testing purposes. And you can follow the blogs and articles related to the cybersecurity. And one most thing I would say to you, follow the persons who are in this cybersecurity in Twitter. Twitter is the great platform for all these cybersecurity knowledge, to gain the knowledge in cybersecurity. Because you could able to find out the persons who are well within this cybersecurity, or industrial persons. They would post about their issues, they post about the programs, they would post about their articles in Twitter. So you can able to find out many things in the Google itself. But you can rely on Twitter. It is a great platform for a security persons, or a person who want to get into the security, or you can at least follow on your own. And what you really require to be pen tester, you need to be a hacker mindset to think like a hacker. You can finding out, some of you may have found out some bugs related to some applications while you using Instagram or some kind of other social platforms. So it's a kind of mindset, how do you find these issues, how you, whenever you found some kind of things, you could be think out of boxes, like how it could be happens. And you need a time, and you can work on that. And so you could be able to find your talent in that ones. It can be doable. It's not special. It doesn't require a special try to get into that. At least you can get on a mindset that, like, how this could be working on. What if you found out an application, what if you given a wrong command? What if you given some kind of gibberish commands, how the application works on? So is maybe you may have seen, many of you may have experience in video gamings. So you may have seen the cheat codes, right? So how does the cheat codes are working on? How while you typing some kind of things in your keyboard, the game perspective is changed. So how does it happens? So these kinds of things, that these informations, you know so this information you have to look it out, how a hacker, the mindset that you can build out. It's not a rocket science. You just have to think about it. What if I give a wrong command to the particular application? Or likewise, or even a cases like uploading a photo on your profile. What if you upload, other than a photo, some kind of files? What does this particular application will do in that cases? So these things, this is what I meant for a hacker mind, so that everybody does can. It's an out of box thinking, that's it. And what is the uh, formula for these things? It's kind of a little bit technical knowledge, a little bit security knowledge, and what I mean, it's a hacker mindset. Okay, so I will give you where to start. So you may wonder I may have given a lot of information regarding these things. I might doesn't give you where to start. So uh, it's not uh, especially in the cybersecurity market. Uh, your degrees are not concerned here. So what I am seeing, or even the great person in the cybersecurity, what I admire, those who might have doesn't have a degree. So I'm not encouraging you all relying on not to be get degree into a not taking degree into cybersecurity domains. But what I am saying is it's all about our passion. It's all about our work. It's all about your enthusiasm in this field. So you are glad to be part of different uh, you are from different BTech in electronics people will be there, BTech in electrical people will be there, IT people will be there, mechanical people will be there. So you have a basic understanding uh, whatever your trade you might have. If I'm from electronic background, so I'm more interested in hardwares. So how do I get this interested when I was studying in my college? So I do participate around the project expo. Created a couple of projects. So that information helped me out while I get at this type of job, security jobs, are more convenient to search for the hardware problems, how we can hack the hardwares, how we can hack the IoT devices, the issues. So whatever your trade, you can get into it. If you are a mechanical background, you can also there's a lot of mechanical devices that could be connected to internet nowadays. It is industry 4th revolution are coming on. So everybody does have this kind of information, and everybody can utilize their trade in their coming if you are getting into the cyber security. So you can learn some kind of basics, you can learn some kind of Linux, you can learn um you can be you can be participate some kind of CTFs. This is the capture the flag forums. So you can type it out, the capture the flag forums. It's kind of games that the security persons will do, or security enthusiast will do. You could able to find out the issues on particular applications. So maybe many of you may have been acquainted with these things. And at last, please develop a lab on your own, so you can try it out. It doesn't have any cost, it doesn't have any, you can do it in your laptop. So I will give you what kind of if you want to be create a minimalistic lab, you can use the virtualized devices like VMware, VirtualBox, and you can install the multiple OSs on that. And if you want to be a dedicated labs, you can do with also you can create a computer dedicated to lab purposes. And you if you wants to be advanced labs, you can do with servers, computers, routers, and switches. So I would suggest, so since we have from student backgrounds, I would suggest you need to be create the minimalistic, you can follow the minimalistic lab. So it's kind of, you can try on different kinds of vulnerable OSs, like you can found in vulnerable hub. I'll be giving the details of this particular in the last session, last thing. And in the references, I will give you all these details regarding them. How do you want to set up a minimalistic labs? So this is the labs you can, which one you can use is Kali Linux or versus. It's not depend upon the operating system you are uses, but I would suggest you go through with the Kali. So it's a kind of a basic, good thing you can use for pen testing or any kind of security. They do have inbuilt a lot of tools regarding to the security operations. And yeah, this is what I am meant for. You can go through the vulnerablehub.com. You can download the particular OSs, you can use that on your VM, and you can go through the medium articles, how those people have sold. I would definitely, I would say you might be interesting. So this is all you be able to get into the hacking domains. So, and this is the recommended reading books You can go through it. It's a penetration testing and a hands-on introduction to the hacking. And you could be able to read all these books. You can find the PDF in the online. And so another area, learning resource, I would be giving out these kinds of organizations or these kinds of things, these kinds of links I have been giving out. You can capture those and you can go through all these things. You can get a knowledge about these things, and you can finalize is your way where you want to be a pen tester, you want to be a defender, or any areas as you could be able to. And if you are interested in certifications, you can start with CH or any of the EC Council. Or if you want to be intermediate, you can try on the OSCP certificate. It's one of the most valuable certificate in the industry right now in cybersecurity. If you do have an OSCP certification, you are proven the value of how you are. The OSCP and OSCE certificates are provided by the Offensive Security from Israel. So you may have a better understanding how this country is valid on cybersecurity and how they are providing, how their certificates are valuable in the entire world. And regarding to getting into jobs, I would definitely give you hiccups on the professional networking. You can go through a clubs, communities or conferences like Nalco, Nal Maharashtra, Nal Mumbai. There's a lot of conferences. You can connect to the people who will be there, and there are around this epidemic time there are webinars will be there. You can be attended. You can follow them in the Twitter. They will mostly active in the Twitter. You can follow those in the Twitter. You can connect to the persons who are industry experts through LinkedIn. And you can, for the interview, you need to have you should have to know the OWASP top 10. This is a certain kind of authority. They will have the upper hand in these kinds of testing, and at least you should have to a basic and a knowledge about how a TCP handshakes and OSI models of works. So, and I will also give how the companies are required. What kind of requirements does these companies is mentioned? See what I mentioned here, the certification that companies are required is some kind of OSCP, OSC, this kind of certifications. So these companies might require. So it's for the better you may have to take, and if you are interested on those areas, you can start by now. So it's your great times while you are in college, or while you are, it's a great times to starting into it. And another area, you can also start on bug hunting in HackerOne and another bug crowd platforms. So you can the companies are listing out their products in these organizations. So you can go and test it out. And sometimes if you are lucky, if you are more conspicuous, if you found out the companies will give you this much of amount of money. So it's all if you have a knowledge on that, you can try it on. These are the policies nowadays. So if you want us to be a more researching areas, you can go into these kinds of you can find out these issues is like WhatsApp. If you find out the WhatsApp issue, you can able to find out how the payload. It's all about 1.5 million dollars will be getting. And so these areas, there's a tremendous opportunity if you are not into getting if you are getting into the research areas also. So it doesn't matter, doesn't require if you should have to get into a company jobs. Cybersecurity will give you an opportunity on research areas and all other aspects, bug bounding areas. So you don't have to be a company job. You should have to be, but you should have a greater knowledge on these things, which many of the people are hunting in their areas. And last but least, and I hope so this will be the credits I have to go. Most of the hacking news is I can use from the hackernews.com, their blogs and LinkedIn profiles. So I hope this will be informative to everyone's. And you can connect me on LinkedIn, or I will give out the contact and the last time. Okay, that's all from my side. Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? We can talk here. We can concern that
Yes,
here.
sir. I think candidates have few questions.
Yes.
GP.
Sir, stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Over to Sabnis, sir.
Thank you very much, Husinul sir, for giving an excellent talk on cyber security and career in cyber security. There are you talked on statistics on data breach. Then you talked on the 3.5 million unfilled cyber security jobs by 2021. You talked on cyber security areas, healthcare, nuclear plant, etc. Then cyber attacks. Then you have given detailed information about pen testing areas and what is pen testing, types of hackers, types of work, offensive, defensive, forensic, auditing. Then you talked about lab. So it is excellent information what we have got from this speech or lecture. There are few questions from participants. Shall we have 2-3 questions? Husinul sir, shall we have 2-3 questions?
Sure, Sumit sir.
The first question is, we use cam scanner to make PDF of Aadhaar card or of another stuff. So if cam scanner access our saved PDF, then they can misuse our Aadhaar card information or not.
Yeah, if some kind, I would say about it, if any kind of malwares are associated with these kinds of particular apps that we do use in our daily lives, they can even even get our sensitive data like these things. So I don't exactly don't know how these malwares are doing, but if malwares are associated in this particular kind of applications like cam scanner, they should have, they might have. So those who created the malware, those who created this functionality, so it's better an attacker can able to create some kind of malware, they can get these internal data. So that's a question, that's a great questions. And I ought to reply that like whenever these companies is found out these areas, these kind of these issues, they resolved ASAP, as quickly as possible, because many of these kinds of sensitive data might be exposed. So the companies are authorized to respond back to the researchers, and they have to mitigate these issues as soon as possible.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question. When an organization gets a random attack, what will be the initial step to be taken by penetration tester during such scenario?
So as a penetration tester, I think this when I was working on a random organizations, so I would penetration tester had much role, but it is another job role, like a defensive job role. So those who are in the security operations center, so they would undergo a full review on what type of attacks are there, and if that attacks are persistent on these devices, if attacks are still on the device, if that particular attack is still on their networks, they might these people will do a kill chain on their these kinds of attackers. They might they might boost their restriction, they have put defensive, and they can mostly, if situations are most wrong, they will undergo a complete review on how these attacks are coming out, and they will mitigate the attack patterns, they will update their parts and everything.
Thank you, sir. Let us take this question. Yes, this is from Professor K.N. Tayde, Government College of Engineering, Amravati. Yes, sir, please ask the question. Over to Professor Tayde.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
I'm thankful for this organizing this particular workshop, informative workshop. And sir, my question is,
Sir, please
as you said,
switch on your video.
yeah, yeah. Sir, as you said that there will be 3.5 million jobs, unfilled cybersecurity jobs in 2021, 2021. So what type of training courses or what type of tasks that these students or those who want to perform a career in cybersecurity, so what will suggest, what they should undergo training or courses? Over to you, sir.
Um, Thank you, Kishore sir, for these wonderful questions. So nowadays is the job prospect and getting into the job prospects are changing. So if you have this kind of certificate, I would not encourage everyone to take up the certifications, but there are some organization they would require the certifications. So what I would tell is it's all depend upon the persons who really want to get into the cybersecurity. So what nowadays is the companies are looking out how skilled these persons they are hiring on. If I would say to everyone, if you are interested in cybersecurity, start by today itself. Learn little bit, and you can acquaint the knowledge, and you can showcase this knowledge on either you create a blogs or you create a medium articles, and the students can participate. There are kind of some kind of uh, programs like capture the flags, hack the planet, and root me, these kinds of CTF programs. And there are so many international events like free events in these kinds of epidemic. There are a lot of webinar sessions are happening. So you can connect to the people right there, and you can create a portfolio yourself, like a blog, or like creating yourself that you have achieved these things. You may have knowledge on these things. So this has to be showcased, because if I do have a lot of, I do know a lot of people, a lot of students who does these kinds of certifications, might not under have any kind of much information apart from the certifications. So I would say about it. So everybody should have this to at least a little bit interest, and they have this to follow. They have this to look on, showcase their skill in this where the LinkedIn platform or wherever. If you have a kind of researching mindset, so the people who might have interview you, so they might be interesting, because you showcase a learning curve there. Apart from a certification point of view, the people or the students, they, if they follow up of the current scenario, how the world is, what are the issues in current issues uh, in the cybersecurity domains, so they could understand that this person, these students, who is very good at it, who is very keen interest in cybersecurity, who is very keen interest in to get the knowledge. So this is the main trait I found out when my one of managers is hiring the persons. They don't, maybe they don't look for the degrees at all, but they look for the interesting part. So I would say to every student, should please do your own GitHub account, and you can post your works there, or you can post your works on the LinkedIn platform, or a Medium article platform, so others can understand that you are a true learner on these things. And certifications also important. Some companies may require the certifications for entry level jobs. So I would say plus a certification plus like certification like a CEH or a CP. So these certifications will have an impact on your resumes while you going through the job while these people will apply for the jobs. That's
Thank
it.
you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. What I have understood from this discussion that if you want to become a security analyst, you have to think about hacker mindset apart from your technical knowledge. Sir, there is one more question. Can you highlight in audit related certification or courses?
Audit there's some kind of audit related certification like uh, ISO 7. I don't know exact number it is. So this is certain kinds of certifications you can go through it, and the certification like CISA and these kinds of certifications, they do have upper hand in these kinds of compliance and regulatory departments. And you can also do the PCI DSS certifications, and if any of the institutes are providing, or you can go through the different sectors, they're providing these kinds of ISI certifications that does require for every auditing purposes. So all depend upon the different kinds of audit they'll be doing.
Thank you, sir. Before we end, there is a separate link for a afternoon session for all the participants. There is an announcement that there is a separate link for afternoon session. So we shall stop here. The participants having more queries, they can contact on his mail. Now I request Professor A. Patil to propose vote of thanks. Over to you, Professor Patil.
Thank you, Professor Shri Sabnis. Now, I, Professor Abhay Patil, one of the coordinators of this national level workshop, would like to express vote of thanks. We witnessed first session of the workshop by our eminent speaker, Mr.Husinul Sanub, on introduction to cyber security and its career options. I hope many of us got new insights in this domain. Thank you, sir. I thank both the eminent speakers, Mr. Husinul Sanub and Mr. Somil Khandadia, for readily accepting our invitation as cyber security expert for the workshop on trends in cyber security. We are also grateful to SQUAD Infotech Pvt Limited for extending their support for organizing this workshop. On the behalf of organizing team, I would also thank the convener of the workshop and head of the department Information Technology, Dr. Sunil Wankhede, for providing all the guidance and direction to all of us. Now, on the behalf of department, we express our sincere gratitude towards our beloved principal, Dr. Sanjay Bokade, and management of Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology, Mumbai, for always encouraging us in organizing such events. We are also really thankful to all who registered for this online national level workshop. With this, I would like to inform all the participants that today's afternoon session on cybersecurity threats by Mr. Husinul will begin at 1 o'clock sharp after the break. Please note, all are requested to be online then. Thank you, all of you. This ends our morning session. Over to you.
Host, please close the meeting. I request host to end the meeting.
Yes, sir. Ending.
Yeah.
Sir, you can end that. We will give you another link.
JP sir, you are the host.